Welcome to GeekStorm. I'm Sean Hilton, owner of Comics Cube, founder of the Kokomo Con, and one of the co-hosts of the upcoming social media podcast YouTube thing called Bag It or Slab It. You're going to be checking that out real soon once my agents work out whether it's going to be appearing on this channel or not. I am joined today for the first time by our good friend Kaylee. Kaylee, what's full name? What's our reporter name?
Kaylee Pemberton.
Kaylee Pemberton, Geek on the Street. She's out there every day on doing some jogging, trying to catch up with all the geeks in the world to keep up with you. So she is our fitness geek guru, so she's going to be going through some of that. Apologize that you haven't seen us in a little while. We've been off air. You know, I've been doing my tour. Mike's been doing a solo project. We're talking about breaking up, but now I think we're coming back together. So since the Academy Awards, it appears that there might be some openings. So I think we're back in. But it's good to see you again. What kind of geekiness have you been up to lately?
Oh my
Fill
gosh.
the world in on what geekdom Kaylee is a part of.
You know, I've gone back to watching X-Files.
The truth is out there.
Yes, I want to believe. I want to believe.
Now, how far are we into our rewatch?
I am in season 4, so
Okay.
I feel like season 3 is really kind of the strongest season in my opinion, but season 4 is solid as well.
I was a huge X-Files fan. I watched till about season 3, was heavily into it, and then it started to catch on. And everybody started asking me because back then you didn't have DVR. They weren't out on video and stuff. So, hey, what happened here? And it got so annoying that I actually quit watching the show. But Lauren, who also does this with us, is a huge, crazy X-Files fan. Like, if you play the X-Files trivia game with her, it's her on a team and then everyone else that showed up. And then she still has to spot you points.
Yeah, awesome.
So she knows the name of Scully's dog and the whole 9 yards.
Queequeg.
Yes.
I think, yeah, from
Moby Dick.
Moby Dick, yeah.
Yep. That's one of the few episodes I remember. So
Queequeg.
she's a big fan. So I love, is it Krychek?
Yes, Krychek.
He was my favorite early
His
good,
whole
bad kind of guy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because you kind of feel bad for him, and you also kind of hate him.
Like, you're a douchebag, but you've got some reasons, and I kind of don't necessarily disregard them all.
Yeah.
So who's your favorite character?
My favorite character is definitely
Queequeg.
Scully. Well, Queequeg for sure,
Okay.
although, you know, his appearance is unfortunately cut short on the show. But Scully's my favorite. I think she is a great role model, especially kind of in early 90s, you know, early 2000s television. She's very dedicated to her job. They don't, you know, overly sexualize her. She's very professional and badass.
She was. I mean, I won't lie. I was like, first came on. It came out around 92, 93, I want to say. And I was like, man, Scully's, I want to be interviewed by the FBI.
Yes.
But only if she's doing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, great show. So that's awesome. What other geekdom stuff are you into?
Oh, man. It's a hard question. I haven't really been doing a lot other than watching X-Files.
Okay. All right.
No.
Well,
What about you?
Well, they already know what I do. So
Oh, well,
I'm into comics, I'm into games, I'm into painting little figures sometimes. I do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So if they ask for it, we'll talk about it. Send in those letters. Let us know what it is you want us to focus on. And we're more than happy to continue bringing you the fine content right here on GeekStorm, KGov, and YouTube that you've come to enjoy. So the reason we really, other than one, having a new face and Mike couldn't make it today, and so you're much better.
I agree.
It's true. We've got a new project that just premiered on KGov. I want to say this was like the raw test footage, though, because it's like 720 or something like that, or it's, whatever.
Right.
And it has to be some edits for television.
Sure.
But what are we currently working on?
Yeah, so I know the two of us and then the Jordans, we are all involved in this Pathfinder for Savage Worlds campaign, and it is incredible. I'm enjoying it. We've been playing for a while now.
Just about a year. So this is a tabletop role-playing game, very similar to what people would know as Dungeons and Dragons, that we are filming us playing. So it's not animated. There's no live action.
It's not animated yet.
Yes. So it's us sitting around a table playing a game, and then Mike, who directs this as well, as our game master. So you're going to finally get lots and lots of Mike Dukes in your life as he is running this game. And these are 3 to 4 hour sessions.
Yes,
The last sessions
or
we
longer.
just did was close to 6 hours.
Yeah.
I was close to having to pull the plug for the first time.
Right.
Because usually you have something and you leave around 5:30. I had a podcast I was doing as a special guest with another group because, I'm in demand. And that was at 7. Well, we're always done at 5:30. So in my head, I'm like, I'm just going to end this at 5:30. And we go to my store, which Comics Cube right down the street. Come visit us right here on Geek Street. And I was going to do some work and then get on the podcast.
Right.
Well, you luckily sit next to me and you wear a watch on your left hand.
Yes.
And so when you do something, I am able to just glance over, see what time it is with never looking at my stuff. So I feel good about that.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, it's 5:30, so we're going to be quitting soon. Nope, we're still going. It's 5:45, we're still going. Well, it's not till 7, I don't really care, it's all good. 6:21, I'm like,
Yes. It's about time.
Man, I'm about to have to say something, but I don't want to be the one. So luckily at about 6:30, we finally came to a stopping point because I was like, at 6:45, I got to be like, just take the mic off and go, peace, I got to go.
Well, and our mics were almost dead, and it was a long session.
Yes, it was. So if you like tabletop role-playing games, or if you don't know anything about tabletop role-playing games, checking out our adventures, it's called Gaming on Geek Street, and you're going to get anywhere from 3 to 5 hours of pure gameplay. So if you happen to be incarcerated in Howard County and they leave the TV on long enough, you've got a full night's of entertainment. And we know you guys are big fans over there in the cell block, so we appreciate you're watching all the time.
Yes.
They really, really like Mike Harrison.
Okay.
He's big over there.
Man, well, at least somebody likes Mike, right?
It's true. So, yeah, it's a good time. So, I believe they're going to have the 8x10 glossies in soon. So people will be able to come down to Geek Street and get their Gargan and Ufadora Gavin pictures signed. And, of course, we'll have to work something out on the weekends where you can come in for an hour for the fans.
Right.
Do a special signing.
Give the people what they want.
Exactly.
But we have to figure out how much we're going to charge for that because obviously that's going to be in huge demand.
Yeah. I mean, I collect my fees, but I donate all to charity.
Oh.
Because, I've got...
Yeah, Margot does too. So, Margot is very charitable and humble. She's so humble.
She's the best. She's the absolute best. So, any video games in your life as of late?
I find myself constantly going back to video games that I'm very familiar with, and I struggle to start new things, so I keep going back to Skyrim and Fallout 4.
Okay.
But Hollow Knight is one of my favorites, so every now and then I like to jump back into that. And then recently we bought the new Arceus for the Pokemon for Switch, and that was fun. It's more open world than Pokemon games typically are. Okay. The fighting is a little bit different. It's good.
In your world of Fallout 4, which faction do you prefer to align with?
Oh yeah, so I do take this very seriously. I think some people just kind of get in and they don't really care, but I do care, and I always go with the Railroad. I always take the Institute down. I do not side with the Brotherhood of Steel at all. I just don't. I'm morally opposed to the Brotherhood of Steel in that game. So I can't do it. I've never been able to go through and side with them.
I always side with the Liberty guys you meet off right off the bat.
Oh yeah,
because they've got cool hats. And I dig the cool hats. And then as you go through, I was taking like the community Barbie house building, whatever you want to call that portion. I was taking that very seriously.
Yes.
So I built this one place. I didn't start in whatever the little main town was you get. I went a couple of miles out and started a new place. Found a great place, loved it. Built that up, and then eventually I'm like, all right, now this doesn't have a view. And I'm playing this game that long. I'm like, well, I got to have a view. So I'm doing the whole thing. I'm searching. I didn't even go after the main quest till I was like a level 120.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I played a long time.
Oh my gosh.
And so finally I find this little area, one of the communities. It's got a beachfront area. There's like an inlet, a bay. I set this whole thing up. I build a little tower house, the highest you can build in the game, so I can have a sunset view of when it goes down. So this whole little community, I am pouring all this time and energy into it. I'm loving it. After a point in actually completing enough of the game, there's chapter things and things change in the world. This thing is huge. My community is doing great. I'm super happy. And every day when I log out of the game, I park myself in a chair looking out at my little view, and I'm so happy. My guy's like, all right, buddy. And he's got his dog, and his dog's with him. So I turn on the game after one of these chapter breaks, and there's a giant blimp that the steel dudes have parked in my bay that's blocking my view.
Yep, see, that's why you can't side with Brotherhood of Steel.
I did it because of that. I saved the game, walked over, made enough friends so I could get on their stupid blimp, saved the game again once I was on the blimp and killed every single person on the blimp to see if I could destroy the blimp to just get it out of my sightline.
Yeah. No, this last playthrough, I couldn't even get on the blimp because I had so
much bad blood.
Aligned myself against them that like they wouldn't let me near it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think in the end of my last big playthrough, I think I killed everybody. I did take down the Institute, but in doing so, I also like ticked off someone in the railroad. And I walked into the little area, and they all like pulled guns.
Yeah.
I have put stupid crap at the top of every building you've ever told me to. I walk in, and the things they get is you pull a gun. So I had to slaughter all of them.
Well, you have to do it very delicately. You have to get the synths out alive, and then take the Institute. So I always like to go with a charisma build, which is very Margot, and I like to convince people to do the right thing rather than pulling the guns.
I just find it's a lot faster to just shoot them.
Yeah.
And then be done with them. And then, yeah. The only annoying part about that is then if the body dies in your community, trying to get the body out, it's just like I got these ghouls in this house and I'm trying to put my couch around, and I'm like trying to figure out, can I turn them into a coffee table?
Right.
It's very,
Well, and then all of your settlers, like they don't want to sleep next to a dead ghoul.
It really seems to bring down the level of happiness in my villages. I don't dig that. So then I got to put in like a disco party tech thing somewhere.
That sounds good, yeah.
My guys, you live in my community. You're doing all right.
Yeah.
So
imagine if we put this much effort into our like own homes and our own,
Oh, my house is falling apart. Barna pulled down the curtains in the bedroom last night. About 3 o'clock in the morning, I hear this noise. And I'm like, what the hell was that? And I look up, and I have these huge blackout curtains in the bedroom, and I'm seeing all this light, just normal light, but still, when you have blackout curtains for the last 15 years, I'm like, what the hell is it? And then I realized they go to the bottom, and my Bart is a 160-pound English Mastiff, and she rolled over. So she rolled over onto the curtains, had enough weight to then just bring the whole thing down.
Oh.
So at which point I'm like, are you okay, baby girl? And she crawled into bed because she was scared.
Aww.
And she got into bed between me and my wife. And then I rolled over and went back to sleep. And I'm like, well, if I close my eyes, the light doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well.
So yeah, the effort that goes into my fake house is far
Yes.
more. Like today I'll go in and I'll have to figure out this curtain situation to see if she pulled brackets out or if she just pulled the curtains down.
Right. You just want to be able to take that controller and like, hang curtains there.
Plus making money's a hell of a lot easier.
Oh, well, bottle caps. All you need is bottle caps.
Yeah, I could live on bottle caps.
Yeah.
We all the bottle caps in the world.
No, I did buy the official Fallout 4 or Fallout cookbook. I guess it's just for the Fallout franchise in general.
Rad Roach Stew?
There are a lot of Rad Roach or, I don't know, we made Nuka Cola.
Okay.
And it was really good.
Really?
Yeah.
What is the base of a Nuka Cola?
Oh gosh, I can't remember, but we did have
sugar?
to, there was some sugar.
That there was.
We had to go out of our way to find some ingredients that we were not familiar with, and then we had to add like a coloring to it to make it look like a cola.
Okay.
Because on its own, it's
not.
clear.
Okay.
It was strange, but it was good.
Very, very cool. All right. Now, you don't read comics per se.
Not necessarily.
Here and there,
yeah,
but
occasionally.
You're not an avid comic reader.
Right.
So, but you are in like book clubs and stuff.
I am.
What
Yes.
was the last booky thing? Because I think I know what it was. So.
Yes, it was The Shining, which is my second time to read through it, and the other members of my book club wanted to read it as well.
And what was the second time like? Because
it was familiar.
okay. You didn't read it that long ago before you read it the second time, or was it a long time?
It was in 2015. That's the last time that I read it. Yeah.
That's. I mean, I'm old enough that's about the cusp where I might start forgetting some stuff.
Yeah.
But I'd probably still remember quite a bit.
Yeah.
The last time I read it was probably in the 90s.
Okay.
So for me, it'd probably be a good reread. Plus, it's my favorite Stephen King.
Yes.
Novel. So
I think it's my favorite as well, but Carrie and Misery are also.
Misery's really good. Stephen King has got this thing with language, the words that characters use.
Yes.
That grate on my nerves more than the physical violence sometimes.
Yes.
The way that she talks in Misery
Yes.
and the language and the words that she chooses to use
Yes.
just so grate on my nerves that it's almost worse than the things that she does to the poor writer.
Yes. Well, I had an aunt growing up who talked like that character. I mean, she would say things like Mr. Man and just the way that she talked. So I'm reading through Misery and I'm like, this is my aunt. And that freaked me out.
Now, do we like our aunt?
I mean, not anymore. That really turned my opinion.
Wow. All right. Well, it's already been talked about to death, but we are GeekStorm, so it turns out at the Academy Awards,
Yes.
some stuff happened, some stuff went down, and Coda won Best Picture.
Yes.
That was the big takeaway. I'm under the impression.
That's the only thing that happened.
I believe a lot of deaf actors were involved, and so
very cool to see that kind of representation and that recognition for sure.
But like Geek Stuff won the typical stuff it wins.
Yeah.
I think there was some production stuff and whatnot, but the Geek Stuff just has to live with the fact that they make all the money.
Yeah.
And that nobody actually saw Coda.
Yeah.
Even though it won Best Picture, and then 3 years, no one's going to remember that movie, except for like cinephiles, but everybody's going to remember Tobey Maguire, Garfield, and Holland. We'll all remember that for like the next 20 or 30 years.
And that is worth remembering, honestly, I think, at the end of the day. What about the comment, though, about animation and how it's really geared for children and adults just have to deal with it?
It's a little odd because, again, I think this is a cultural thing that is different in different countries. I think if you go in North America, where we grew up on Saturday morning Hanna-Barbera style cartoons where there's not a continued storyline, and you have these 15-minute kind of, bits, I can see where they're coming from with that. However, if you go over to Asia with anime and other things, and even some of that's been transported over here, like if you're old enough to remember like Battle of Planets and things of that nature, those were anime. They had continuing storylines and people loved it. Well, that was anime that was refitted for the U.S. market. So if you treat a subject matter like it's children's fare, then it will become children's fare. But if you wish to elevate that particular art form to become true art, fine art, adult acceptable, whichever bracket or genre idea that you want to place in your head about it, it can be done.
Yeah.
Do you watch anything in particular?
Well, Avatar: The Last Airbender is obviously my favorite, and again, going back to the familiar, the things that I kind of grew up with. I was definitely older when that aired, but I love it.
But a storyline.
Yes.
Like that's the thing. It wasn't awe. I only watched a couple episodes of Airbender. So, what was his name? Aang? Aang. But he had like a cool bison that flew. I dig that.
Yes, he did have a flying bison.
But it wasn't like 15 minutes of them like slapping each other and chasing around to buy, you got to stay away from Granny's, bird, and Tom and Jerry beating the hell out of each other.
Right.
This had ongoing storylines, relationships were built. And again, I think that was a perfect crossover because that directly aimed at children. But then when the parents came into the room and watched it, they fell in love with it. So,
and I think there's been a resurgence with that show in particular, and I think streaming services have helped with that a lot because people are able to go back and watch it when maybe they either saw it when they were growing up or they never saw it at all. So it just allows them to kind of really get into it. Yeah. That's another cookbook that I have is the official Avatar: The Last Airbender cookbook.
Do you have the Bob's Burgers cookbook?
I do have the Bob's Burgers. I love themed cookbooks.
I love Bob's Burgers. And it's a thing where it was on for like a year, maybe 2 or 3 years before I finally watched it.
Oh, yeah.
And the commercials looked so dumb and so bad to me and my personal taste. I was almost like, it looks stupid.
It does look stupid.
I have this weird thing where if it's on Netflix or any streaming service I have, I will watch the first episode of anything as long as it's not like 3 hours. Doesn't matter what it is. If somebody says something and I have the time, I will watch the first episode.
Right.
I watched the first episode of Bob's, and now on my DVR, I'm back about a year behind on purpose because I do not want to watch Bob's Burgers too fast.
Yeah.
I need to save them for like days where I get home and I'm like, man, it's been Bob. Bob will make it better.
Yes. So. It's so easy. There's really not an emotional attachment to the show. Very enjoyable. What? I'm not emotionally attached.
Very attached. I mean, Bob is trying to run a small business. I'm a small business owner.
That's true.
I feel his pain.
If you start selling burgers, then
and I won't lie, Bob's wife's kind of hot. So
I love Linda. I love Linda. All the characters are great.
The table reads. Have you ever seen a table read with them?
No.
Oh, it's great because Linda's actually voiced by a man.
By a man, yeah. I follow him on TikTok.
Superb.
Yeah.
He might be the funniest because Bob, while he's funny, is kind of the straight guy.
Right.
And everything. And Linda is just like, if I want to go talk to Bob to make him feel better, but then like that night when we go out to party, I want to go hang out with Linda because she's going to have a good time.
Yes.
Bob's going to be like, oh man, I got burger orders and inventory, and Linda's going to be like, woohoo!
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, all right, we need to hang out.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dig all that. So yeah, I think, when somebody puts something down like that in a throwaway statement at the Oscars or something, I'm just like, come on, man.
It's a little too broad stroke to say that kind of thing.
Sure. Yeah. You're talking about the Muppet Babies. Yes, I agree with you. That's children's fare. The Care Bears, the Gummy Bears, Strawberry Shortcake.
I did not know that there was like a gummy bear or.
They are here. They are there. They are everywhere.
Oh, I did not know this. I did not know that was a thing until recently.
You got to drink your gummy juice.
And
there's then gummy juice. You get bouncy.
I wonder if there's a gummy bear cookbook.
Oh, it would be like cannibalism, so I hope not. It'd be like, Grandpa Gummy telling you how to cook people.
Oh, okay.
Actually, they had I can't remember her name, but yeah.
Well, what do they eat?
A lot of gummy bear juice, I want to say.
So that does
They've all got
that's pretty macabre.
Like, they're all pretty deep in the cups. They're a little gummy bear kind of deal. So they're having a good time. They're bouncing around a lot. I'm just saying.
All right.
They need a program maybe. Their cardio is probably damn good though. So they're doing all right. So if you're a gummy bear fan, you let us know. Gummy bears, Care Bears. That rumble happens in the streets. I want to know who's coming out alive.
Yes.
Because Grumpy Bear, man, he's throwing some shade lately. If you've been on the socials, his Insta is filled with some gummy hate.
Yeah, and you can't be doing that, when you're a public figure like that.
He came out and said, I'm not a role model.
Oh. Well, then, okay. Then never mind. You're fine.
Yeah. So.
He's not Will Smith.
Man, so on that matter, everybody knows what he did. We don't have to go through that. But the impact from the different sides taking sides, like almost all the comedians are, of course, like, no.
Right.
But like some of them have been a little more salty than others. And, I don't know. What is your take?
I'm not involved in any of those relationships between Chris Rock.
With Jada, you could be, though.
Oh, yeah.
It turns out.
Yeah.
And if you told that joke, that's okay.
I don't know. I've heard people arguing that she kind of nudged him to do that or to react. We weren't there. I can't really say, and I don't know. I think it was probably not something that he should have done at the end of the day.
Oh, it's going to be bad for his career.
Yes.
I don't think it's dead, but I definitely think he's on pause. He's already lost quite a bit of momentum. A lot of his projects have either dried up and been told we're done or aren't moving forward currently. Right. He's luckily not in a Louis C.K. treatment where it's going to be 5 years before he walks away with another reward.
Right.
But he is definitely probably in a 24-month rotation of be sorry, keep your mouth shut,
right?
Do some public service type things, and don't get too uppity because it's just not going to go well. It doesn't matter who did it,
right?
You can't,
Now I don't know if I'm the only one, and I've talked to my friends about this, and in that group at least, I am the only one who thinks that, was it staged? Did the Oscars they've seen lower engagement, people aren't watching as much? Did they do something this controversial to get more viewers?
No, I don't believe so. If what we had seen had happened and just been the end of it and he walked back to his seat, then I could have seen that. Unfortunately, the follow-up was him cursing and using a swear that can't be televised.
Right.
So they had to cut. And so that, if it had just been the slap, I think we've all been like, because Chris even kind of leans into it. Looks, from the angles we see, almost like he's leaning into it. There's a lot that could have been done, but the aftermath of it, and now him resigning.
Right.
Now, on the Academy side, it's good and bad. I mean, one, we're talking about the Academy Awards like 3 weeks after it happened, which they haven't had anybody
talk. And I never talk about the Academy Awards.
No, Mike does. Mike, he loves that stuff, and so I pander to him. But, but yeah, now we're legitimately talking about it. People are still talking about it, and it's relevant again for the first time in 20 years or so.
Right.
But man, yeah, I don't see how you go up there and you slap somebody. I'm in a weird position because I have got pride will be my downfall. Sean Hilton is a very prideful person who is willing to step up and say or do something incredibly stupid because of pride. Pride is definitely my Bruce Willis Pulp Fiction moment. It's gonna mess with me, and I can't put it down. And I have said several times, we are now living in a society where people have become unafraid of the consequences of the words that are coming out of their mouth or the deeds that they're doing. You cut somebody off in the middle of a street anymore, and you're like, I don't care.
Right.
You yell at somebody and all this other crap. Well, in this instance, somebody finally stepped up to somebody that was talking and did exactly what I think they should be worried about.
Right.
However, this is a different context. This is a comedian whose job is to do exactly what he did, and it was words. So it's a weird thing. Again, I think trolls are getting a little more belligerent. They're getting a little more, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And, well, I think there are people still in this world that are going to look at you and go, what am I going to do about it? And then they're going to do something about it, and then you're going to litigate.
Yeah.
But litigation doesn't help your broken jaw. So luckily for Chris Rock, it turns out that an action star can't put that man down. So
Yeah.
I know the next time that I'm filming my big action hero sequence, I'm calling Chris Rock, not Will Smith, because I know this guy's proven he can take it.
Okay, all right.
Words hurt your feelings, so.
Yeah, well, the next time I'm filming an action film, I probably won't call either of them.
No?
I think I've got it on my own, honestly.
You just
Yeah,
the Kaylee show?
yeah, just the Kaylee
Coming
show.
to cable, now is that going to be a streaming service, you think? Or
Yeah, I mean, probably. I think they're going to want to pick it up. Yeah.
Okay. Sir? Oh, good. Well, there you go. What would you like to talk about? I feel like I've been guiding this a little too much, so we'll let you off the range, go to town.
Yeah, well, talking about streaming services, what do you think about the state of streaming services recently? I feel like there's so many options, but Netflix for sure has taken a dive downward, I think.
We're living in the world of streaming services now. We went from we've cut the cable, haha, we're done with you, to we then just took all the balls and chains and attached them to every surface of our body to be able to watch all this different stuff. We said years ago on our program here, my thought was all these streaming services are going to lead to one thing, and that's piracy. You're about to make typical normal Americans pirates because you're providing all this content, but every single one is an upcharge. And it's a secret, hidden kind of a charge. And people will argue, no, it's not. You know what it is up frontwards. It is true that when you sign up and you digitally do whatever, you know what the cost is. But then every month, you don't see a bill come to your house, typically. It just automatically comes out. And we're seeing that more and more and more in our lives, where if people were to sit down and figure out all of the little fees that they pay that just disappear, they might all of a sudden be like, I need to cut some of this.
Yes, yeah.
I know Netflix is getting ready to de-emphasize sharing their password, which they've actually done advertising in the past saying stuff about, share your password, let people know. Well, now they built up the service enough.
Right.
Now we can't. Hey, let's pump the brakes.
Right. Yeah, I think that ultimately, the harder they push on that, the more it's going to hurt them because their content has just not kept up, I think, with some of the other streaming services. We recently got access to HBO Max, and we had never had that before and didn't really care about it. There was no content on there that we were just dying to watch. But we started watching Barry.
Okay.
It's starring Bill Hader. Bill Hader, I've never had an opinion on him. This show is excellent. It's so good.
I need to check that one out. I haven't seen that one
gosh,
yet.
we flew through it. I'm in love with Bill Hader now. I mean, if you want to come to Kokomo,
we got the Kokomo Con coming up June 11th.
Yes.
If Bill's not doing anything,
Kokomo
he can come
Con.
meet the 500 people that show up at our con and sign some autographs.
I work for the Visitors Bureau. I'll coordinate a hotel room, or you can just stay at my house. I don't know, whatever you want to do. That's fine.
Ben's cool with that?
Yeah.
Right.
I think he's cool.
Ben
with
and
it.
Bill are buddies now.
Yeah, they're getting tight.
While you're watching the HBO Max, check out Harley Quinn the animated series.
Okay.
It is so funny.
Yeah.
Don't watch Perry Mason unless you like feeling like you've been kicked in the face after every episode. I happen to like that experience.
Okay.
It turns out it is gritty to the point of just like nauseating sometimes. Very first episode. Did you watch first episode, Mike, of The Baby? Whew, it's rough.
Okay.
And I'm okay with rough, but even I'm like, damn, where do you go from that? So it's a little rough.
Yeah, if you tell me that, I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay. Yeah, Harley Quinn, laugh riot. Me and my wife binge watched the 2 seasons that were out and just never, there was an episode where we didn't laugh. Any episode that really stars Bane is probably the real winner, but they're all really, really good.
All right.
So highly recommend that.
Yeah, we'll check that out.
What else is your streaming service go-tos right now? Obviously, X-Files.
Yes, X-Files.
So
I really like, and going back to animation, I really, really like Adventure Time. And so as I'm kind of like getting ready in the morning or doing something that needs my main focus, I will have Adventure Time on in the background because I've already seen it. I don't really need to pay attention to it. Just a fun show. And the storyline progresses in such an interesting way. You don't get a lot up front, but as you really watch through the show, you get the background on the characters and the world around you, and it kind of breaks your heart a little bit.
I need to watch. I've never watched this one, so I need to check it out.
I don't know if they have a cookbook, but if they do, I'm going to have to get that one.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for checking out GeekStorm. We greatly appreciate it. Don't forget, we've got the, I don't know what the schedule is going to be, but if you're a tabletop fan, if you've got 3 to 5 hours of your life you need to spend once a week, don't forget to check out Channel 2 KGov. You're going to find Gaming on Geek Street. Come May, it will be in a little bit different format and unedited, and you'll be able to find us on YouTube. And it stars everybody.
It stars me.
It stars Margot, and I am like her roadie that just
sidekick.
goes and hooks up the mics and stuff for her, and then make sure she doesn't die.
Yeah.
Mike, our producer, thank him for bringing us back in. Thank Kokomo Toys, the finest toy store in the entire north of America. Kokomo Toys and Collectibles, located at 111 East Sycamore in the beautiful heart of downtown Kokomo. One of the jewels in the crown that is Geek Street. Bring the whole family down. It's an incredible day of shopping and eating. Kokomo is a very incredibly pleasant place to hang out. Come this spring or summer, load up the wagon, bring everybody down. Check out the amazing town that we call home. Be groovy, everybody, and we'll see you next time.